This is the Hable One, a Bluetooth remote control that works for both iPhone and Android. It's small, portable, and it has great tactile buttons. Keep watching and let's take a closer look. Hi everyone, this is Carrie on Accessibility, and I talk about technology and accessibility. Smartphones are one of the best pieces of assistive technology devices for people who are blind and visually impaired, and the Hable One is a nice little companion for it. One example of how I've been using it is putting my Pixel Buds in, using the Hable One to control the phone, which I can leave in my pocket or in my bag or even on my night table. This is the device up close. It's about 5 inches long by 2 inches by a little over a half an inch. But it is a bit thicker, which actually makes it nicer to hold. On the top edge is the power slide switch, and at the bottom edge is the USB-C port. Then at the bottom, all the way to the right, is where you can put a lanyard. I've put my lanyard on here. I kind of wish that the lanyard was closer to the middle because I'm left-handed, and when I put the wrist strap on my left hand, it does stretch the cord out a little bit, but it still does work. It has 4 little rubber feet at the back. That's if you lay it flat on the table, it doesn't slide around. And then the front of the device has 6 white large keys in the middle, which looks like a braille cell, and then it has 2 long black keys on either side, and these are going to be your 7 and 8 keys. Now it does kind of look like a braille keyboard, and you can definitely use it to write braille, but you don't need to know braille to be able to use the Hable. I think they really put a lot of thought into making the button combinations that you have to press really intuitive, whether or not you know braille. Plus, it can be a really great way to practice or to even learn braille. But more on that and my own personal experiences and my thoughts on using the Hable One for the past couple of weeks later in the video. Before I go on, thank you to the Hable team for sending out this device for me to try out. The way that you hold the device is so that the buttons are facing away from you, and then you rest your pointer, middle, and ring finger on the 3 white big buttons at the left, and then your right hand mirrors that on the other side. And then you can put your pinkies at the bottom and then your thumbs at the top. My hands are probably a little bit smaller, so I put them at the back because that's more comfortable for me. This position of how you hold it is very similar to how you would hold your smartphone if you were using braille screen input with voiceover or talkback. To turn it on, you would just move the slide switch to the right, and then it will vibrate. The first set of vibrations tells you how much battery you have, and then if it vibrates again at the end, that tells you that it's connected. For this demo, I've connected the Hable One to my Pixel, and it was really easy to pair over Bluetooth. And of course, like I mentioned before, this is compatible with your iPhone or your iPad or your Android devices, and you can switch between multiple devices as well. With your left hand, you have dots 1, 2, 3, and with your right hand, you have dot 4, 5, 6, and the long key on the left side is dot 7, and the long key on the right side is dot 8. Don't worry too much about the braille, just remember that those are how the buttons are called. Right now, I'm on the home screen. If you want to go to the next item, you press and hold 7, and then do a quick press of 8. Keep holding down the 7.
Sheets.
And then you can do it again.
Calendar has 1 notification.
So I'm still holding down the 7, and I can keep pressing the 8 as many times as you want to keep going to the next item.
YT Studio Messenger.
And then now you can do the opposite to go to the previous item. So you're going to hold down the 8 and then press the 7.
YT Studio. Calendar has 1 notification. Sheets.
If you want to activate an item, kind of like a double tap, you would press 7 and 8 together.
Settings.
There are a lot of different commands and shortcuts that you can do with a Hable. You can do the braille H or dots 1, 2, 5, and you can just remember the shape, and this will take you home.
Home.
I love that the Hable vibrates, so that way you can know that it's doing something. If you want to read from next item, you press 1, 2, 3, and 5. It's kind of like a right pointing arrow.
Sheets. Calendar has one notification. YT Studio. Messenger. YouTube.
And then you can press and hold dot 1 to make talkback stop. If you want to read from the top, it is a left pointing arrow or dots 2, 4, 5, 6.
Sunny. 80 degrees Fahrenheit. DigiClock 2x1. DigiClock.
And it'll keep reading from the top. If you want to go to the first item on the screen, you press 1, 2, 3.
Home.
And if you want to go to the last item on the screen, you press 4, 5, 6.
Google Lens.
You can do things like open the talkback menu by pressing and holding dot 1 and 3 or a K.
Talkback menu.
And then you can press dots 1 and 2 and hold it, and that's back.
Home.
There are a lot of different shortcuts like I mentioned, and Hable has a manual and a way to search for what shortcut you're looking for, which I think is super helpful, and you can filter by Android or iOS, but a lot of the different shortcuts are very similar across both operating systems. There's shortcuts to open actions and to change your granularity or your reading control.
Links. Controls. Links. Speak characters.
And then you can move by your reading control.
E. L. E. L.
If you want to do the 2-finger double tap for answering, ending calls, or on iPhone dictation, or pausing and playing media, you press and hold dot 3. On Android, one cool thing is you have extra shortcuts. You can press and hold dot 2 and then maybe 1 and 5, and that will open email. And that's just one example. You don't have to memorize all these shortcuts. That would be really overwhelming, but after some time, it's really intuitive and you really, just get a hang of it. It makes the phone really easy to navigate. Sometimes gestures can be challenging for some people. This could really make a difference for somebody like that. If you do know Braille or you want to learn or practice it, Hable One is a great thing to use. I have a new Google Keep note here, and I'm just going to type a little bit of Braille. When you press the dot 6 key to make something capital, it does vibrate to let you know that it's going to capitalize a letter.
Capital H. E. L. L. O. Hello. Space. Capital A. I. S. This. I. S. It. A. A. T. E. S. T. Test.
And let's see what it wrote.
Title. Editing. Hello. This is a test.
There we
Edit
go.
Box. Note for note body.
And now I can
Press Alt plus
navigate.
Shift plus enter to long press. Test. Hello. Hello. Dot. This.
You can navigate through words, select things, you can do all sorts of things, you can copy. It has really been a treat to use, especially since right now I am learning grade 2 Braille and to learn contractions and to remember them, and it can type them pretty well from what I've been able to experience. When I first looked at the list of all the commands, I was really overwhelmed. I'm like, how am I supposed to remember all of these? But you really don't. And you learn them as you go. The more you use them, the more you remember them. And it gets easier and easier over time, and you don't necessarily need to know all of them. I still don't know all of them, and it's been a couple of weeks since I've had this device. You just remember the ones that you use, and it's perfectly fine to have to look one up if you need to. Believe it or not, I have gotten a lot faster typing Braille, and it's just so much nicer to use the Hable One, these tactile buttons, versus like Braille screen input, which I don't know, I just have really clumsy fingers or something. I just make a lot of mistakes with Braille screen input. It's just really nice not to bother with the screen or have to like do gestures and things like that. A lot of the time I'll like be laying in bed, and like I mentioned before, I'll have my headphones and my earbuds in, and then I can control it and I can type and I can navigate, and it's just been really nice. For me, I do have a few things that I wish I could improve. For example, going to the next and previous items, I kind of get tired of holding down a key when I'm really like trying to fly through things, and you'd really keep having to hold that button down, and I just wish I just could press one button, like maybe there was like a way to lock navigation or something. That way I can just keep pressing the button instead of having to worry about my other hand keeping that button pressed. The battery life on this thing is phenomenal. I'm just so used to having to charge everything, my phone, my headphones, my smartwatch, everything. But this I've only charged like once, maybe twice. It has lasted me so long. I'm kind of a buttons person. And some of you might know that I like to press buttons and I love mechanical keyboards. I love that feedback. And one thing I will say is I wish there was more travel on these keys, right? Most people probably wouldn't really care, but for me, I wish it was more satisfying to press. Maybe that's just me. Another thing is I wish it was a little bit more ergonomic in their hand. It's not uncomfortable, but it would be kind of nice if it could like be more rounded somehow to kind of fit your hand better. But then that'd be kind of tricky since everybody's hands are kind of different, so I'm not really sure. Oh, another thing is I wish that it came with a lanyard that could go around your neck. Now, I could search around and hunt around probably. I'm sure they're really cheap and I could find one maybe if I dig around in my house somewhere, but it would just be really nice to be able to hold it there instead of like just on your wrist, because I have a problem with keeping track of all my devices. So I put my phone down, I don't know where it is, and I'm like, where did I put the Hable? And then I don't know where did I put that. And so I wish there was an easier way to keep track of it. But again, that's probably a bit of a me problem. If you're interested in purchasing one, all the details will be down in the description. The price of the Hable One is $349 US, which is a bit of a hefty amount. Now, it is very portable. It's so nice. It's small. It's not like a big, huge, chunky Bluetooth keyboard that you have to lug everywhere. And that is really nice that it's not like that. What do you think of the Hable One? Leave that in the comments below. And that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye! Hi everyone, this is Carrie. This is a Bluetooth. This is the Hable One, a Bluetooth controller. Oh my gosh, I can never do this. Okay. And it has great buttons. Keep watching. Great tactile buttons. Fudge.